Dr. Hansen Mueller with me with the 4-player type standard model. This is the German version, apologies for that, but we of course have an English version too. You and Grandmaster Louis Engel were talking about this for quite some time. It's a very popular chess-based training, and what we have done a couple of years ago with Fritz 19 is we were checking out, does the 4-player type standard model correlate to the player characters? The aggressive bull, the mouse, which is very tedious and frightened. Well, of course, we have Fritz 20 out now. We have done the same thing. A couple of players played against Fritz 20, and we chose one beautiful game with Elisabeth Pähtz against the aggressive bull. But quickly, to wrap this up, Carsten, what made you actually create the standard type model, the 4-player standard type model?
Well, I didn't create it. It was known from economy, human resources science, and Lars Bo Hansen transferred it to chess many years, I think about 20 years ago, but it didn't really catch on a large scale. And then I made training with my students and I made seminars with it, and it always worked very well. And then I decided during the Corona time to write a book together with my student German Grandmaster Louis Engel, and also to do a ChessBase DVD on it. And now Fritz 19 and 20 have these characters, and it makes a lot of sense to compare them to the 4-player types.
It does, especially for preparation against your opponent, because there's two things which are very clear. Either your opponent plays a little bit defensively or aggressively, and these are already two strong indicators on how your opponent is going to play. So you can prepare against your opponent while playing against Fritz, against a very aggressive player or a very defensive player, but there are nuances, and you will point them out in this particular game. Just one last thing I wanted to mention is that I was at the Grenke Chess Festival. I was asking some of the players, how do you prepare in freestyle? Just to get the normal answer, which is you cannot prepare. That's the good thing about freestyle. But that's not true. Some players mentioned, actually, I was checking out, is this an aggressive player? Is this a defensive playing player? How is their style? And what is their pawn structure? Because often enough they want to get in a certain system they know, and that was quite helpful apparently. So without further ado, this is all yours. We're taking a look now at Elisabeth Pähtz versus the aggressive bull master candidate. I have to mention that because this is just a 2,100 player compared to Elisabeth's grandmaster level of over 2,400. So
yeah, between 4,400 and 2,500, I think. At the moment, I think she's a bit underrated. Yeah.
Absolutely,
more
yes.
strengths. We will see in the game.
We will see that in the game, exactly. And she was blitzing out her moves quite frequently, so we have to also take this in consideration. How did Elisabeth play?
That's already one important point. Activists are intuitive players and have big strengths when they can attack, and we will see. So yeah, that's already a quite important
That's
point.
true.
Okay, so she is white, and the bull is also. So here is activist against activist, but white is much stronger.
Yeah.
And the Dutch defense is already a very strategical, risky opening, which probably doesn't fit to an activist. It might be more suited to a strategical player like a theorist. I think this might be a theorist. There are typical theorist openings, and such Dutch or even Stonewall is a typical theorist opening.
So okay, look, I wasn't even aware of that. I was actually I had the impression that the Dutch is quite an aggressive opening. It's not the case.
But it has a big strategic risk, and we will see that it will very strongly backfire here.
Let's take a look. So this is all theory.
All natural, of course, natural theory, Dutch classical main line.
Ellie really likes to fianchetto too. It's very powerful.
Yeah, but here this is all big theory. But already here one can see that black has taken a big strategic risk because the light squares in black's camp are very weak. D7, E6, F6. And this can and will here backfire very strongly and quickly.
All right.
Such a hole on e6, you're gonna regret. If you will, we will see. Okay, this is all very natural. This is also a bit. Black has taken a big risk here already. Black's king feels already slightly insecure.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, so far nothing big has happened. But already Elisabeth is already eyeing the e6 hole. But okay, so far, and now comes another big, this, for an activist, this is all very, very natural. And it looks already very dangerous for Black. But okay, now comes a big critical, so far so good, but now comes the first very, very big and critical moment, and it comes a typical activist mistake. No other player type will commit that, I think. What would you play here with Black?
Well, I won't give it away by acting as if I don't know, because we made this show in German already. Nonetheless, I can tell you...
What did you answer in the German show?
Exactly. So I answered in the German show that what is the problem with bishop d7?
Yeah, and now...
But now I know the problems.
So I give it back to you. What is the problem with bishop d7?
Well, first of all, our squares are not very well with this move. It doesn't change anything. It has to be, it's one of the strongest pieces for Black after all, so we have to open him up with the move e5 instead, obviously.
Yeah,
Duh.
e5 is obviously the only move, and all three other types. And this is also not, it also has to do with the strengths, but I think it's mainly a player type question.
It could be, yes.
As theorist, you won't play, or as reflector, you wouldn't play bishop d7. No, your strength is not so important, even with 1500 or whatever. You wouldn't play bishop d7.
Okay.
It's just a mistake, because the bishop belongs to f5 or doesn't move at the moment. And this is one possible line. And here it's absolutely clear that Black is not mated directly. Black has counterplay, and this is the way you play it. And so this is a big mistake, a typical activist mistake. The strategic types won't make it, and it's big positional concession.
And you even marked it with a question mark because it is really such a bad move.
It deserves a full question mark objectively. And of course, my annotations are objective annotations.
Absolutely.
Okay, what is the problem? What did Elisabeth play? What must be intuitively right? What would you play?
Well, knight d4 is smiling at you greatly. It is a wonderful move which is attacking all those squares. This knight just gained +1 points if you want to give the pieces some points.
It gives a real nightmare to Black. Okay, next question. Now another typical activist mistake follows up, but this is a bishop d7, whatever. But the next move really is, maybe I should have given 2 question marks even to the next game move by the bull.
Yes, yeah. So quickly to mention this, of course, Fritz 20 is trying to make some mistakes for you at home. This is why it is fun to play against Fritz 20, because you can find some tactics here and there. So we will see later that Ellie is even choosing to go into the tactics. It's some nice things which will happen, but queen c8 is, it's
a non-move. Here again, Black must play whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, you must play. It doesn't matter, this is very bad already, but whatever it takes, it's the only move. This is also destroying the defensive harmony.
There's too many pawns in the way.
And now the king is too weak, and the e-file and whatever. This is I should have given it 2 question marks.
Okay, next time.
Okay, and now comes...
rook e8. Sorry, pardon.
And this shows why queen c8 was completely wrong. Okay, here... we have a choice between c5 and knight e6. This is an intuitive first choice. Okay, but here comes another very, very big moment, the decisive moment in a way. What must Black play here? And I think a reflector would play. It is a reflector quality now. What must Black play?
Yeah, for you at home, think about this, because this is probably the key position of all the key positions, right? And I didn't find it in our German video. And I should have. Because it was actually quite crystal clear, right? What is the good Black move, or like at least...
The last chance to fight.
The last chance to at least not give up immediately, which would be also a good move, maybe. You actually take on c4 with the knight.
Yeah. Typical Reflector strengths. The knight is the worst piece. It must come into the game. A pawn is taken. And okay, white is better here, but black is not mated directly.
Yeah.
Black has a pawn for the exchange and has the pieces now make sense. And here white is better. The rooks have long-term potential, but it's a different game. And in human games here, I guess all three results would still be possible. Black could also win this game if white misplays matters.
Yeah, and this is really an important lesson, actually, I think. So if you can take anything out of this video, then it is to think about your qualities and maybe use them to your advantage, because an active player can do some damage with this position, and as a black player maybe.
Yeah, and it's not so easy to technically or to play this. It's also practically, this is not so easy to play with white.
Yeah.
Well, the game for such a strong activist like Elisabeth Pähtz plays itself and will most likely now end in a brilliancy, but and it did.
Yeah,
So yeah, this is a big mistake, very, very big mistake. And activists usually are not so tenacious defenders.
Yeah, and if they try, it will go like that.
Yeah. Okay, here Elisabeth, and it also, by the way, this wins as well. Another big disadvantage of Rook E8. This also wins.
Yeah.
But okay, Elisabeth's move is also very strong. Yeah, here comes the next moment, which is already big losing according to computer, but would still be practically better. What should black play here? We already know now the main problem.
Yeah,
of black,
I mean, I guess you can still go knight c4.
You play this move, press the clock and whatever. Yeah, but
and hope for the best.
I think this is already completely, computer already gives plus 2, plus 3, so
yeah.
against the strong, you can already resign. But okay, but this is a big mistake, typical activist mistake. It's not only wrong, it's not only not bringing any more defenders, it also weakens already, and it allows bishop takes h6. It's a big mistake.
Catastrophe, it's inviting us to get the queen to g6 at one point, which perhaps, I don't think it will happen. But
it's a too big activist mistake. So the bull really is, otherwise it might not be so easy to choose from the characters, but if you play against an activist or a hyper-activist, then the bull is your choice as sparring partner. This is an easy choice. Otherwise, it's getting a bit more difficult. Okay, bishop f4 is bringing the next piece into the game and allowing both rooks to enter quickly. Now, finally, the bull plays it, but now black's king is so weak. It's really. Well, here again, white has a choice. What would he? Yeah, many moves are smiling at white.
Yeah, I loved bishop takes h6 immediately. I think this...
Bishop e4, another candidate. But what did Elisabeth play? And from activist point of view, I think it's even more natural.
Yeah, rook c1, like the a rook to c1, of course. And like this, the rook can shift over. She got another attacker to the whole party.
And she diverted the bishop c3 from the king defense, and she took away out of the game 2 defenders and brought in one attacker. And so this defender-attacking ratio is often also very important. And here black's king basically has no defenders left, and white attacks with all pieces.
It's quite cute.
And usually this such ratios doesn't work. The attacker then always wins by some things.
Yeah.
Okay, but still it gets beautiful and tricky, typical for activist games. But okay, white wins no matter what, absolutely clear. And the bishop cannot easily come, the e1 bishop cannot easily come back, also important. Okay, here again, matter of choice, bishop e4 or bishop h6 win both, but this is smiling at us because it opens the rook road.
Yeah, and I remember in the video, which you can see in the links, we have it all in the article, by the way, and you can also replay the game, think for yourself about this, and we have another link to the 4-player type model, of course. Nonetheless, I was like, no, Elisabeth, don't do this. I was scared because I thought like, well, engines, they will never miss. But of course, yeah, as I mentioned already, it's just the master candidate and they miss on purpose sometimes.
By the way, this time we won quite highly. Yeah? Last time the Fritz 19 against the humans was 3-3 in the end.
Yeah.
Here we won relatively comfortably.
Yes. Yeah, we underestimated how weak the newer easy play models are after all.
But okay, for you at home, as sparring partner,
Yeah, it's more fun.
It's more fun, and you can prepare against your forthcoming opponent. Yeah.
Also, if you ever have an endgame, by the way, I have to mention this quickly, and you don't want to go like, I don't want to like now rely on the weakness of the computer engine. You can just always turn up to the 3500 ELO engine and play the endgame against them and see how good you are for real, because that makes a big difference after all.
Yeah, if you have a winning position, then it definitely makes sense to switch over and not to... Yeah. Okay, here, of course, yeah, black is losing whatever happens, so the bull took, and here, of course, it would have been more beautiful. Black is losing no matter what, but of course, bishop takes f3, f2 is I would have played bishop takes f2 just.
So taking with the king is out of question. We can all see that.
But
F8, what wasn't that clear to me is that taking with the queen might also not be very good, actually, because the defender will be taken, the attacker will be taken away, and out of a sudden this game continues because we gave our quality already earlier. I mean, we have the two bishops, but still.
Yeah, but this is, of course, the big mistake. Elisabeth would have played and probably had, and it's, of course, important not to play everything intuitively, but in some moments you just have to calculate. You cannot only rely on your intuition. And, of course, here Elisabeth had, I'm sure that she had seen that this is met by
King h1.
And some things you just have to calculate. And then black can safely resign. But I would have played that. Okay, in the game, the bull played rook f8. But now it's, of course, easy. It's much easier that... but it does make, from a practical point of view, it makes a big difference. And, of course, you should play bishop takes f2 in your games to pose more practical problems to the opponent.
Also, she played it quite ad hoc, I think, very, very quickly. Yeah.
But I'm sure that... in such things, activists are very, very strong, and when she has such positions, then she is stronger than 2,500 ELO.
Oh yeah.
I think if she manages to work a bit more on some weaknesses, then But okay, that's a different story. But here, everything worked well, of course. She played king h1, and now it's over. Now black could have resigned because nothing is playable
There's
anymore.
only one way to defend, which is bishop d4, but if we take, their defender is gone, and out of a sudden it's checkmate.
Yeah, congratulations to Elisabeth for this intuitive, strong performance. It was a computer opponent after all, okay, on master candidate strengths, but still...
Tried to beat the master candidate, I can just tell you. And even in a blitz game, this might be very challenging after all, because I couldn't manage it very easily. I had to take a couple of attempts. It is quite challenging after all. Thank you very much for this great analysis and for making the 4-player type model after all.
Last in a way, it was taken from human resources of economy. So the model existed already, and Lars Hansen transferred it to chess. So,
but I meant this.
Yeah,
thanks.
But I want to stress that I didn't make it.
Very humble. Yes.
Maybe just but it is, in a way, it could be called. If you want to call it that way, then it's the Hansen model. I just helped a bit to popularize it.
Thank you.
My pleasure.